What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Sadly, today is yet another red day. Today is, it's been brutal. Both Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, especially altcoins, are being absolutely destroyed. I should say. Let's be real. The altcoins did not have a very good alt season so far, and whatever profits they did generate, a lot of them have been absolutely destroyed by this crash again, which I think it's 100% manipulation, because with basically the only bad news, the real bad news, is that the US and China are back in the trade war, or whatever the Trump administration wants to call it. That is the only thing that changed, and that pushed the narrative all the way down and caused so much fear in the markets again. While the technique, Bitcoin hasn't changed, the adoption hasn't changed. There's nothing fundamentally that changed in crypto. So there's no real reason why we should see this correction other than Bitcoin having hit its third all-time high this bull run, I suppose. So personally, I think that's the only reason we're starting to see these bigger sell-offs. People just secure, or bigger parties are just securing profits at this point. And once again, us, the smaller investors, are getting absolutely hammered by it. Now, I will stress though that I personally am not selling. I've taken profits along the way, but right now I am not selling. I'm basically doing the exact opposite. But yeah, let's just grab the charts and let's go about my reasoning a little bit more. And yeah, let's just get into it. All right, so here we are at the chart of Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin last Friday absolutely destroyed. Today, even though we had a small recovery, we're still going down. And yes, even now we're seeing a little bit of a bounce, but it's not very substantial. So these were the scenarios I drew out a while back. Obviously, we didn't hold these levels. We crashed way past that, even on that Friday. At that point, the price was above that. So basically, this turned into a resistance zone, and even though we had some very big recovery, it's not strong. Like, there's not a lot of buying pressure. There's not a lot of buying volume in here. So I'm not very secure. I'm not very certain that we will see a very big correction up, at least in the next couple of weeks. I do think we will see that towards the end of the year or beginning of next year, where usually we start seeing new money come in. And personally, I think around March, like last year, we will start to see bigger pushes again. Throughout that time, I expect we will be a little bit stagnant unless we get some really good news, unless Donald Trump tweets something or announces something, whatever, that is either super bullish, or, of course, it could also be worse. So we could also see something worse, and we could crash down below that 100,000. Now, I said this in the last video. I am very cautious right now. I am not leverage trading, because these kinds of movements and these kinds of unforeseen circumstances, no amount of technical analysis will protect you against that. No amount of stop losses, risk management, other than possibly using isolated margin, will protect you. It will wipe your account. If you're on cross margin, we saw last Friday, stop losses don't work. People lost millions, if not billions of dollars. And you cannot protect yourself enough against such movements. And people got absolutely blindsided by it. So I personally am not leverage trading right now. I am, however, buying spot. I am not selling any of my spot bags. I took profits. I took some profits when we were back at these price levels. I took some profits at these price levels. I took some profits even before that, around these all-time highs. That's when we want to be cashing out. In my SNX video, I took massive profits on that. I took 120% profit at and at 160% profit. I pulled out a lot of my funds. I left a little bit in. I bought a little bit back even on the dip then. And as the prices are dropping down, I've bought a lot more spot of my spot backs as well. I think personally that right now is the safest and most secure option. I'm not selling because that would be basically giving into these manipulations, basically giving up my crypto at a price where I'm not happy with it. And most likely, eventually over time, it will bounce higher than that uh, as we establish new levels on all crypto. So, this, of course, being Bitcoin for an example, but I don't think we'll see Bitcoin back at 88K or anything like that. So, even at those lower levels, we saw these bigger sell offs. So, if you cashed out here or here, I mean, look what run Bitcoin had after that. So even with that crash, that is still a massive increase. So if you believe in crypto, if you are in crypto, if you're an investor in crypto, I don't see a reason to sell it because, as I said, the fundamental is still there. There's still massive adoption. There's still ETFs, companies, hedge funds. Donald Trump himself is still buying crypto. So I don't see why I should be selling my crypto. And yes, it might be a longer time to hold it. It might take a while for me to be in massive profits on the most recent buy. So on the buys I did yesterday, it could take a while, but we have the time. All we have to do is remain calm. Make sure we don't use funds we need in the meantime. We're not. Make sure we're not being forced to sell while in a bear position, a bearish market. I don't think we're quite yet in a bearish market, by the way. I think we're still somewhat safe. It'll be a slow month, I suspect, before we start seeing some bullish momentum again, at least a small or bounce. But right now, I think the time is to act. I think having such a big discount on Bitcoin, I think is golden. And if we go towards CoinMarketCap, I mean, we see the total crypto market cap down again. This could go back down to $3 trillion. It could go back in the twos even. We could see a very, very big correction if this fear in the market persists. If we're seeing more of these fights between China and the USA or other countries join in or whatever, because if there's anything that this American government is, they're unpredictable. I mean, basically, Trump caused this with all his massive tariffs randomly, and now they're finding out some retaliation, and it's gonna add oil to an already simmering fire. So I expect more volatility ahead instead of less. So volatility could either push it back up or it could push it back down, and I think right now it's probably down, but like I said, the fundamentals are changing. But if we're looking at the discounts we have right now on basically all the major crypto, all the major altcoins, basically all the way up to the top 100. I mean, a 20 or 30% discount on a certain crypto. I mean, you have to decide for yourself, but I personally think all the crypto I wanted to buy is cheaper now than I could buy it 2 weeks ago. So I don't see a reason to be selling just yet. I think panic is a very bad advisor. I do also think that caution is in order because there is no telling what Donald Trump is going to do. Only his inner circle knows what he's going to do, and that's where they will be trading accordingly. I said it in the last video where I talked about the secret whale as well. I think it was bound to be that once they figure out people are copying a certain account, they're just going to counter trade it. And I think that's happening. I think that's exactly what's happening. And if we look at liquidations, I think liquidation volume overall is down. There's a lot of people shorting, so I expect a little bit of a bounce to stop these traders out. But I don't see a reason why we should catapult the price up just yet. I think that's going to be quite a ways off. I think we're still, I don't see us reaching a new all-time high in the next couple of weeks. I think it's erring on the side of caution, gathering as much crypto as I can, and wait for the next big pump up, which I think will be roughly towards the end of the year or beginning of next year. basically when we start a little bit of a new trading season, that's when I think. And I've always been a big buyer of both stocks and crypto around December, because December is historically always a bad trading month. A lot of offices close, people go home to be with their families, so there's not a lot of trading activity in general. Crypto markets obviously being a little bit different than stock markets, considering stock markets actually close, and on Christmas Day, Wall Street is closed. So there is a difference, considering crypto markets are still open, but I think overall global volume does die down. And when volume dies down and people take profits, prices tend to go further down. And that enables us to buy more cheaper. And especially in my stock portfolios, that's the time I'm massively gathering stocks in order to catapult me into higher profits in the next year. So December might be a negative month, but by buying more in December, I'm gaining more in January, February, March, etc. And it actually increases my yearly ROI on all my portfolios by doing this. So that is my personal approach. I think we need to be cautious right now. And I think as long as like you're buying crypto you already wanted to buy, I don't see an issue. I think that's my best approach. And it might sound counterintuitive, but the lower we go, I think quite possibly could be better for us in the longer run. Because the global interest in Bitcoin is still massively increasing. There's still massively Bitcoin being bought. The only downside is for now, as supply is still available, it's being bought off market. And this doesn't influence the price. However, this does enable them it does give them the power to dump Bitcoin on the open market while buying it off market cheaper. So this becomes like this infinite cycle where they just dump tokens on people and they negatively affect the price, and they're able to buy more Bitcoin cheaper. And I think these manipulations is what we need to play into, because we can't affect them. We cannot control it. We can't benefit off of it. If they're buying cheaper, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we be able to buy cheaper if they are? All right, so I'm gonna close out on that. That is my view on what is currently happening. I am personally buying as much as I can. I am buying in stages, obviously. It's something I always say, like DCA, make sure you don't lump sum in. Like if you have $1,000 on the side, don't throw $1,000 in. Just slowly, gradually get in as prices go lower. At least that's what I'm doing. That's my personal view. I think that's the best way to go about it, because had I thrown all my cash in on that first crash, I would not have any dry powder left, and I wouldn't be able to buy that second crash. And nobody was able to buy this bottom because markets were crashing, so you would have bought a lot higher. And basically having bought this second little crash, I mean, even if we go back to its old all-time high, that's already almost a 20% increase on Bitcoin alone. Obviously, the effect on altcoins being much bigger as they were hit much harder. And a 20% down is a 40% up. So that gives us massive, massive upside potential when prices do recover. All right, so if you agree with me, if you have a comment or a question, or just want to yell into the ether, whatever, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I'm getting very close right now, so thank you all very much for that. If you haven't subscribed yet, you would help me out massively by getting me towards that 500 subscribers. It's a personal goal of mine, and I wouldn't have imagined it when I started doing this, so you would be doing me a massive favor. All right, so if you have the opportunity to do it, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey, thanks.